Hello, beautiful creatures of my world, and welcome back to Coffee with Kerri-Lynn. I have a lisp today, but I am 6 days post-op dental surgery. And a very dramatic situation that happened during dental surgery. My body's very dramatic. I have chronic illness. So my body is very dramatic. The mind is not dramatic. The body is dramatic. And we had a bit of a situation in the surgical suite. Thank God the dentist is attached to the hospital. Anywho, and holler, I can talk now. And I am only on infection control, which I'm day 6 now, so it's looking pretty good. And so I've been staying away from everyone and everything and kind of holding myself up on my property. And when I do go off the property, I'm just going to make sure everybody stays the hell away from me. Because I can't get sick for at least 14 days. That's when I'll be in the all clear. Life is funny like that. So I want to thank everybody who emailed me. We have a whole thing that goes on here when I'm not recording videos. Ladies and gentlemen, we use the email system, and some of my subscribers have become very good friends. And they were trying to keep me entertained last week. And they're kind of like trying to be an outlet because I saw things happening. And I couldn't talk. So I got it out of my system through the emails. And then my phone was taken away on Thursday. Because I was supposed to be no stress, low stress. So the king of his castle is the lord of his manor. The man himself, also known as my husband. I was getting pretty stressed. And yeah, phone got confiscated. There you have it. We had an exceptional bleeding situation. It's just my luck. Body's dramatic. Mind is not. So I ran. What do I think about what happened? That's the question on everybody's mind. They know who I voted for. I voted for Donald Trump. It's no big secret. I'm an adult. I'll tell you who I voted for. I get a lot of flack for it. I don't really give a shit. And I'm getting the whole, what do you think about Donald Trump now? Listen, there are decisions Donald Trump makes that I like. There are decisions Donald Trump makes that I don't like or agree with. I am anti-war. My entire life has been lived with war in the shadows. I was born during Vietnam. I'm that old. Oh my gosh. I was born during Vietnam. My father had just come out of the service. And here I am. It was a grand time, apparently. So, I was born during Vietnam. I was pregnant with our first child during Desert Storm. 9/11. Desert Storm happened. My brother was in Fallujah. We have had at least one person in our family in every generation that served in the military. And when my brother went into the Coast Guard, we then had a member of the family that served in every single branch. And my grandmother was absolutely thrilled. So we are a huge military family, and right now I'm just very happy that my little cousin is no longer he's done with his service obligation to the Navy, and that's that. So I'm glad he's not on active duty right now. My son was in the Air Force. He's not on active duty right now. He's a disabled vet. So I understand that decisions are made because I'm a grown-up. And they might not be decisions that I like. I'm an adult. And I understand life can sometimes suck. It's not all rainbows, unicorns, and roses. It's sometimes it's pretty brutal. I do not like war. I do not want war. I am, for all intents and purposes, anti-war. I'm still going to vote for J.D. Vance in 2028. Should he be the one running. that I think will do the best job. That's what I feel. I think that instead of adding to the bullshit that's going on the platform with the podcasters, screaming this could happen and that could happen. We all know what could happen. The world is a shitstorm right now. We lob missiles at Iran. Iran is going to retaliate. Everybody wants to dicker and bandy about Donald Trump said he's going to wait 2 weeks before he makes a decision. That is not what Donald Trump said. Donald Trump said he will make a decision within the next 2 weeks. And like Brett Baer is pointing out to everybody, 2 days later is within the 2-week time period. So we lob missiles at Iran. Iran is vowing to retaliate. They want to get to heaven with their 72 virgins, so they have a completely different social structure than we do. They're talking with Russia. China's saying, no more shenanigans over here with Iran. We're going to take Taiwan now, possibly before our planned 2027 date. We want that. Strait of Hormuz might be shut down or not, or a battle, or who knows, but I can't control any of that. And I'm a grown up enough to know that I can't control any of that. I'm grown up enough to know that shit rolls downhill. And I'm grown up enough to know that it's going to hurt financially here. We're all going to start hurting financially. If you've been with my channel for the last 2.5 years, you have a stock pantry. So you are ahead of the game. We've been doing the 5-can challenge really hot and heavy for a year on my channel. Year and a half. That's a simple thing. You go buy 5 extra cans of something your family enjoys to eat at the market. In order to find that financing in these tough economic times, you leave the 2 damn bags of chips that you normally buy on the shelf. Simple as that. And then you have the money to buy your 5 cans of food that are going to feed your family during a hardship, whether it's a weather-related issue, blizzard, roads are closed down, can't get to the market, no power, markets can't open because they don't have electricity, or whether it's World War III. It's very simple like that. We've been talking about, for the last couple of years on my channel, becoming debt-free. Very important not to carry debt, not to carry a lot of debt. If you have debt, pay your debt down. We talked about many times, you got to put your gardens in every single year because the World War III ain't going to happen and you're going to throw seeds in the ground and get success. You need to build your success. This is all stuff that we have been doing on my channel for 2.5 years intermittently because we're not a hardcore prepper survival channel, but I'll teach you how to live because that's my objective. My objective, I have 3 objectives in life. 1, not to freeze to death. 2, never to go hungry. And number 3, to enjoy everything that I have in life and treat everything like a blessing. And those are my 3 objectives in life. So we live a pretty good life here on the homestead. Things happened right away on Saturday night after everybody found out that we had shot missiles into Iran. The price of gas spiked to about 10% across the country. It fell back down now we're up from Saturday afternoon's prices. Gas prices across the country on an average are up 4 to 5%. They dropped down from the 10% initial spike that happened, but everything's going to get expensive. See, we're here about solutions. I can't control the decisions come out of Washington, but I can control how greatly I allow those decisions to impact my life. And I know, number 1, shit gonna get expensive. The gas is gonna get expensive. Because gas gets expensive, transportation's gonna get expensive, crap at Walmart's gonna get expensive, crap at the market's gonna get expensive. electricity, heat, your utilities, that's all going to go up because of what's going on. And it's all out of your control. So financially is where the concern is. Hopefully you put in your garden. If you're in the far north of Maine, up along the Canadian border in the Crown of Maine, you should have your garden pretty much set in. Oh, we're not going to show you our garden this year. We have one, but we're not going to show you the extent of our garden this year because shit's happening. I think another aspect of what people are going to have to pay more attention to is when you're out in public. You need to have your head on a swivel. Yes, I stole that from Jason and from Pinball. I think Pinball stole it from Jason. So everybody's stealing everybody's slogans these days. So yes, head on a swivel, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world. You need to put a lot more thought into your everyday activities when you are out and about, especially if you live in the city. If you live rural like us, not so much. You still do have to pay attention to your surroundings. Don't get me wrong. But what's going to go down in the city is far different than what's going to go down in rural America. We have a college right over here in the next town over. There have never been protests like there are at the colleges in more metropolitan areas because George Soros is not going to bus agitators into our college. The kids up here, they come from those other places. They want their education. They want their degree and they want to start a life. They choose not to go to colleges in the metropolitan areas because of all the shenanigans that go on. You know, the protesting, the bussing in of people that don't even belong on campus. Then all of a sudden, there's a riot situation, peaceful protest, on campus, and it spills out into the street. These kids that are going to school up here, they're getting away from that. So even through everything, our No Kings protest, it was no crowns, no clowns. That's what they called it in the next town over. And they used a few businesses for meetup landmarks, and those businesses barricaded the perimeter of their business because they want no part of this shit. Okay? They go ahead and peacefully protest. That is your constitutional right. Everybody expects it, but not on my property. And that's how it was. So the protesters were relegated to the sidewalks and to the roadway. And the police kept everybody safe from being hit, although some yahoos did step out in front of parked cars into the roadway with their signs. And, you know, you're supposed to be an adult and know not to do that. But everything went off without a hitch, and the protest ended at 2 o'clock, and it was all over and done with. And there was nothing. It was people on the street peacefully protesting, holding signs saying their piece. There you go. We have a protest every Sunday in the next town over since Vietnam. And they just stand there holding their signs. Very peaceful. So you have the constitutional right to do it peacefully. Everything is kind of peacefully up here because people have jobs. People need to work. We are the potato capital of at least New England. There's an economy here that needs daily tending. And that's what we have to do. Life goes on. It's just the way it is. Are we going to see looting and the potential for riots and stuff like there are in the city? Probably not. Probably not. We're a community. There are Democrats up here. There are Republicans up here. There are liberals up here. There are conservatives up here. But at the end of the day, when shit goes to shit, I know people are reading on the citizens group from up here. Aroostook County citizens groups, and it looks like everybody hates each other on there. Those are shit posters. When it comes down to brass tacks, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, we are a community. We stick together. We help our neighbors out. This is what's going down in rural America. I know it's completely different in the city. That's why you should have been building your pantry, so that you're not out in any type of melee. Now, what happened on Saturday? We have a whole subsection of the country, which is a lot of the country. They laugh at us, the people that prepare in case, bad weather happens and we can't get to the market for 2 or 3 days. So there is a faction of people that think that, prepping is stupid and it's a joke. And you know who they are because they're in your family too if you're a prepper, and they make fun of you. There's a whole section of those people that kind of woke up a little bit Saturday. And they've been watching you. They've been making fun of you because they want to be part of the cool kids. They want to be part of your conspiracy truth fact. They don't want that. You're weird because you're doing things that will help yourself. And they want to be with all the people that are really cool, that when World War III actually happens, they ain't gonna have nothing. And they all think they're gonna bang on your door. But there's a percentage of those people that woke up on Saturday and they're heading to the market now. And they're in a panic mode. And they're looking at what you've done. And they're like, hey, not a bad idea to maybe plant a garden. Maybe get a little bit of extra food. Maybe gas up the vehicles. Make sure that we always have full vehicles. Everything is topped off. They're not quite at the going with the jerry cans and getting gas to put away, but they're coming around. The rest of them are sleeping. So now that you have a pantry, because you've been listening to me for 2.5 years, so you have a pantry and you're not going to be out in that shit. This is what we're avoiding things. And that's the name of this game, is avoidance. I don't want to be out there when I can be here. Peace and harmony, spinning wool, knitting, crocheting, talking to you guys on video, and while they're all panicking out in the streets. So what we're doing a lot now, and how I'm looking at this, is preventative. We know that there's going to be a retaliation. Okay. We don't know what the retaliation is going to be. We have an open border policy for 4 years with Mexico. So we don't know who got into our country. I'm watching prepper channels, and they're saying anywhere between 500 and 1,000 Iranian sleeper cells might be in this country. Nobody knows. They don't know. Nobody knows. There could be Iranian sleeper cells. There's could be Chinese sleeper cells, Russian sleeper cells. What we have done with immigration is we have deportation. We are now putting people from the Middle East, the problem people from the Middle East, problem countries, Chinese people that came in here, they're all illegals, and Russians, and they're being deported first now. Okay. I'm okay with that. We'll get back to the gang members in a little while, but the priority right now is people from the countries that we're having problems with. They're going back to where they belong. They came in without the proper documentation. They came in as criminals, so that's where the concentration is, and I am fine with that. We're going to be talking about what's going on overseas as it happens here on the channel, but we're also we can't do nothing about it. They're going to make the decisions that they make in Washington. The military-industrial complex is going to grind on. And we're going to talk about what we can do to mitigate the devastation that they are forcing upon everybody. It doesn't matter what side you're on, there's devastation. And we're going to try to mitigate those circumstances. And we are going to be America first here on the homestead. And we are going to be our family first, because I know that I can't help other people if I cannot help myself first. It's like putting on the mask in the airplane when the airplane is going down. Put my mask on first, then I'll put yours on. And we're going to have to make some hard decisions. We're going to have to decide whether or not people who laughed at us and for years have been, just not, we've been the butt of everybody's jokes. And should people start knocking on the door? These are hard decisions that people are going to have to start making, because things are going to get really expensive. And if you think that people who weren't putting stuff away are going to start when the prices are really up, that ain't going to happen. They're going to be at your door. And hard decisions are going to be made. Hard discussions are going to have to be had with family members, and even in my family. Fancy that. Imagine that. So that's that. We're going to talk about actual solutions The war or whatever it is, the conflict is going to happen in the shadows of your life. I'll tell you when to panic. We live just a few miles from Loring Air Force Base. And that was a nuclear Air Force base that was decommissioned in the 80s. And if that starts having that activity, we're gonna let you know, because that's our point of reference. We already had Janet Mills fix the runways because a couple years ago, because it was there's a business park in a certain part of the old base, so the runways were fixed. And last month we had Operation Phoenix happen, where it was a joint force operation, and it was the first joint force operation that any military personnel up here ever witnessed happening, where all the branches of the military came together and did air exercises at our base. So if that base goes fully operational, we'll let you know. And that's our jump off point to that's our shit hit the fan moment, quite frankly. So we will let you know about that. Like I said, we only live a few miles away from the base. So yeah. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, thank you for joining me today. And as things happen, we'll update you as I can with my little list. Be the kindness that you want to see in the world. And above all, Carpe Diem. Get out there, enjoy life. Do your work, ladies and gentlemen. Get your preps, do your chores, and then always enjoy your life. Because your life is not going to stop just because there's bullshit going on worldwide. You still gotta live. You still gotta find that happiness, Carpe Diem, because no one promised you a tomorrow.